The following is a special presentation of CBC Sports. His status in the sport is symbolized by the number he wears when racing in his own backyard. Andre Viger is #1 at the center of Canada's wheelchair world. In Montreal earlier this autumn, Viger tore away from the start line, out to prove at 40 he is still the fastest Canadian on wheels. At this finish line, V was for Viger and for victory.
They call me the old man, in French, le vieux. And now it's motivated me when somebody call me old man, and they motivate me. Okay, take a look at the old man now, and we'll see.
Next stop for the old man, the Toronto Marathon, and again, Viger is the favorite. But another Quebecer will challenge. Michel Juteau was 7th in the Boston Marathon. Gingras, Kessie, and Adams are a trio of youngsters who promise to push Viger, their idol. In the quad division, Regina's Clayton Guerin brings double gold from Barcelona to Toronto, a city where 22-year-old Chantal Petitclerc hopes to break away.
The first 5K are going to be important. That's where I'm going to know what I have to do to win, and I'm going to do it.
This time, Ann Walters, the veteran American, will try and hold off a Canadian charge. From the heart of the city, this is Toronto's Wheelchair Marathon. We are moments away from the start of the Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon in downtown Toronto. Good afternoon, everyone. Scott Russell along with Peter Erickson, a national team coach. And Peter, the name associated with wheelchair sports in Canada continues to be Andre Viger.
Yeah, Andre is an outstanding athlete, and he did really good performance in Barcelona, where he finished 7th in the marathon and won the 10,000. So we can see a really fast race from him here today.
Quebec is a power base for wheelchair sports in Canada. Another Quebecer, Chantal Petitclerc, has a chance in the women's race.
Yeah, Chantal, who lives and trains in Edmonton, is in really good shape, so I think we can see a Canadian record from her here today.
Peter, a word about the conditions. The sun is shining. We're expecting 20 degrees Celsius. What kind of race given those conditions?
Fast and a lot of Andre Viger.
All right, to use an old cliche, the sky is clear, the track is fast, and we are ready to roll. In all, 32 wheelchairs will race in this competitive marathon. They leave 2 minutes prior to the runners, and for the most part, they will race unobstructed. A superb running marathon takes just over 2 hours. The wheelies, as they are known, could be as fast as 1 hour and 40 minutes, Peter.
It could be a very fast race, but we have to remember that this is a hilly course, plus we have over 25 turns on this course, which will slow them down a little bit.
Jeff Adams of Brampton, Ontario, in the red hair. You saw him break into the lead. Many jerseys from the province of Quebec there, the purple jerseys. A power base for wheelchair sports in Canada. Home to Andre Viger, the 3-time Boston Marathon winner. And of course to Chantal Petitclerc of Saint-Foy, Quebec, who is one of the favorites in the women's race today. Now, as Peter mentioned, this is a very hilly course. It is run, for the most part, through eastern Toronto. They start on University Avenue, just south of Bloor, and then they make their way through the various streets of Toronto. And as you mentioned, Peter, many, many turns on this course.
Yeah, and that's an advantage for Andre Viger. He's a good climber, and you will see him taking off somewhere on a hill, I would expect.
Next question, Peter. What kind of speeds could we expect Andre Viger to achieve on a course like this? Many hills. Could this be as fast as, say, a Montreal Marathon or a marathon in Europe?
Well, it could be as fast as Montreal Marathon, but not as fast as Berlin Marathon that is completely flat. And these guys have an average speed of 35 on the flats.
The world record in the para division is 1 hour, 27 minutes and 20 seconds for men. And in the quad division, 1 hour, 56:45. The course record here in Toronto set last year 1 hour, 50 minutes. Andre Viger told us before the race that he would like to break that record today, and that is Andre Viger now moving up on Luc Gingras, wearing bib number 9009. Andre Viger now taking the lead very early in the race.
I would be very surprised if he couldn't break 150 today, because 150 for Andre these days is a regular training time.
Tell us about his style. He seems to use his arm and the whole body very well.
Andre has a lot of use for his upper body muscles, so he can use his upper body into every push he has, which gives him an extra strength.
In that lead pack, so many jerseys from the province of Quebec. This is a very strong province when it comes to wheelchair sports. The red hair of Jeff Adams from Brampton, Ontario. He also will challenge today. Kind of an important person to you, Peter, because he's one of the athletes who you coach.
Yeah, he's an excellent athlete, Jeff, but mostly he's into the middle distance on the track, and this is not his event.
Bib number 9004 is Ann Walters of Champaign, Illinois, being passed by Saint-Foy, Quebec's Chantal Petitclerc, a double bronze medalist from the Paralympics in Barcelona, Spain. And we expect a battle between these two athletes all day long. Meantime, in the men's para race, there is a breakaway forming, Peter, all Quebec racers.
Yeah, well, they're going to get Jeff a hard time here when they're taking off early in the race and increase the speed a lot.
The Quebec riders will work together for our breaking away. You are watching the Toronto Wheelchair Marathon on CBC. The work is well underway through the streets of Toronto. We are at the 12-kilometer mark of the Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon, and you are looking at the lead group, a group of 4 racers led by Luc Gingras of Quebec, and they're really pulling away.
Yeah, here we will see the hills start to come up and be more and more hilly on the course, and watch Andrea when the real steep hills are, because then he's going to hammer it away.
You are, of course, referring to Andre Viger. Right now, he is at the back of the pack, but he can really move up the hills, and these hills are very steep, Peter. You know, it gives you a real appreciation of how much work these people are doing.
They're doing a lot of work here, and here you have a guy who's going to have to do a lot of work to pick up with the front. That's Jeff Adams in the second group.
Second group, Jeff Adams, and they are well behind now that lead pack, which includes Andre Viger, Michel Juteau, Luc Gingras, and Marc Kessy of Quebec. As they turn the corner, Jeff Adams heads out. Here is the women's pack, and there are only 2 in the pack. Leading the way right now, Chantal Petitclerc of Quebec, followed by Ann Walters. Already, Chantal Petitclerc having to work very hard.
She's getting a lot of help here from the technology with the wheelchairs. As you can see, this is not a regular wheelchair. This is a custom-built racing wheelchair who weighs less than 8 pounds.
Less than 8 pounds. That is Clayton Guerin of Regina, Saskatchewan in the quad division, and he is battling it out right now with Jean Bergeron of Quebec. But Clayton Guerin is, of course, the favorite, the gold medal winner in the marathon for quads at Barcelona, Spain. Meantime, back to the men's pack in the para division, and on the right of your screen, Andre Viger really pumping up the hills, and he now is moving out with Marc Kessy, and those two are staging a battle.
Well, Andre and Marc always train together, so if something is going to happen in this race, they're going to do it together.
Peter, we have a mic on Andre Viger. Let's listen in on a marathoner at work. It's incredible the effort that all of these people are putting into the race, 42.2 kilometers, and they're only using 2 limbs, so it's not like a regular marathon runner who's using the whole body.
No, you really have to keep up your arm frequency here, and you can see Andre, he's probably over 120 strokes per minute now.
Approximately 14 kilometers into the race, and Andre Viger, the race favorite, has now taken the lead. And that entire lead pack is from the province of Quebec. Viger is followed by Marc Kessy and then by Luc Gingras, and dropping off the pace now is Michel Juteau. The question is, Peter, has Viger gone out too early?
Never too early for Andre. He can keep this speed for a double marathon if you have to.
We talked to Andre Viger, the 40-year-old veteran from Sherbrooke, Quebec, about his strategy before the Canada Trust Marathon.
I plan to work hard to stay in the pack at the beginning because it's slippery downhill. And I will be ready for my move inside the 11 and 16K in the hither part of the course.
Well, Peter, he has already made his move, and they are now on the downhill. That is Marc Kessy along with Andre Viger. Something interesting about Andre Viger, he is known to use some of the other racers to get some of the work done for him.
Yeah, he always wanted to work with people, and he always encouraged them to work with him. And as you see, he's a hard worker, and before this hill started, he was on Marc's case, and let's work on.
Now it is Marc Kessy that is doing the work for Andre Viger. Viger getting a bit of the draft, and he will make his move. This is Ann Walters in the women's division, and she has made her break now from Chantal Petitclerc. And frankly, Chantal Petitclerc nowhere in sight. This is a bit of a surprise, Peter.
Yeah, but I think Chantal is not really prepared for this race, and if she's going to keep up with Ann Walters here, she has to work really hard because she's doing a great race here, Ann Walters.
Ann Walters is a 5-year veteran of wheelchair racing. Chantal Petitclerc, only 22 years old. And Chantal Petitclerc of Sainte Foy, Quebec, and there she is. She's now dropped well off the pace, and she is laboring.
Oh, this is it for her. The race is over, and now it's just a question of being able to finish it.
Chantal Petitclerc having her difficulty, 16 kilometers now. That's the lead group, and Andre Viger is in the lead. You can see how hard he's working. He is being followed now by Marc Kesse and Luc Gingras, Michel Juteau. Those others that had challenged in that pack or that early peloton have now fallen off the pace. But Andre Viger, a word that you use sometime to describe him, Peter, he hammers it.
He always does, and he's a hard worker, and the race is never over for him until he's crossed the finish line.
And you can see there that Marc Kesse took a little bit of a rest. He stopped his arm speed altogether, and Andre Viger is now opening up a very wide lead.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough race for Marc now. As you can see, he slowed down a lot. And Andre, there's no stop there, just pounding it.
Andre Viger retired for 7 months about a year ago. He did it in order to write a book and to get a book out about his life. He's been so successful in wheelchair marathon racing. But Andre Viger is not done yet, in spite of the fact that he's 40 years old. Another one of the very tough hills through the streets of downtown Toronto. And this is a difficult course.
Yeah, it's really tough right here, and as you can see, the old man is still alive and well.
Andre Viger of Sherbrooke, Quebec, is basking in the sunlight in the city of Toronto today as Viger takes the lead in this Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon. And Peter, he seems to be getting stronger and stronger all the time.
Yeah, he's in top shape. You can see he's probably cruising around 35 kilometers an hour right now.
The old man of wheelchair racing, Andre Viger of Quebec, is basking in the golden sunlight of Toronto. 1 gold, 2 silver at the Paralympics in Barcelona, Spain. Today, he is chasing a championship in Toronto. You are watching CBC's coverage of the Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon from Toronto, and you are looking at Andre Viger, the leader. Time for a little smile. He looks very composed, Peter Eriksson, thus far in the race.
Yeah, very relaxed and still keeping the speed up.
Andre Viger, 35 kilometers in, back at 30 kilometers. The second group in the middle, Jeff Adams. At the top, Alain Baillargeon and Jean-Thomas Boilly. And now Adams makes a break, and he's going to sprint to the finish now.
This is the right time for him to make a move because he can still pick up the second group in front of him.
And so 21-year-old Jeff Adams of Brampton, Ontario has made his move late in the race. For him, it has been a calculated risk.
I'm not going to affect the race that much. I'm going to try and sit back and take my pulls when I have to, and you know, do an honest race, and just wait and see what happens in the sprint at the end.
Jeff Adams continues the hunt in the para division, and now we switch to the leaders in the quad division. These are racers who have had neck injuries as opposed to back injuries. The best is that lead racer, the marathon winner from the Paralympics and the Barcelona Olympics, Clayton Guerin of Regina, Saskatchewan, and they have a very different kind of stroke, Peter.
Yeah, it's really hard to see here because they're moving their hands so fast, but they are pushing the wheelchair with the back of their hands because they don't have a full hand function. Michel Juteau here, he has a full grip on his hand and he can push the wheelchair with the inside of his hand.
Speaking of Michel Juteau, he has faded quite rapidly from that lead pack, including Andre Viger, Luc Gingras, and Marc Kesse, and now Juteau is being caught by Jeff Adams of Brampton, Ontario, and Adams has made a remarkable recovery after falling behind early in the race.
It's really good performance from Jeff here, and as you can see, he's wheeling pretty easy right now.
One of the many corners on this course in Toronto, and Jeff Adams is trying to overtake Michel Juteau of Quebec. As you take a look now at Ann Walters of Champaign, Illinois, an American in a Canadian race today, 23 years old. She's a veteran, 5 years of racing experience at some of the shorter events. But Ann Walters told us before the race that she plans a lot of marathons in her calendar this year, and she is leading this one quite handily over Chantal Petitclerc of Quebec. Meantime, back to Andre Viger, the old man of Canadian wheelchair racing. A gold in the 10,000 meters at Barcelona and at 39 kilometers. Peter, he looks very strong, only 3.2 kilometers to go.
Well, as I said before, he will keep it up.
Talking about keeping it up, Jeff Adams is now in that lead group with Michel Juteau and Luc Gingras, and he's put himself in a position to challenge for a medal. Look at the size of the arms on Jeff Adams, and looks like he's got plenty left.
Well, he's a good sprinter, so if he just can sit back and relax now in the end here and take a sprint out, then he will be in the top 3.
Looks like Luc Gingras in that red helmet is dropping back, and this is going to be a race now between Michel Juteau and Jeff Adams for second place. I think we can concede, Peter, first place to Andre Viger, but this will be a real race.
Yeah, I would say the last 100 meters will be the final sprint that determines who's going to be number 2 and 3.
Number 1 right now in that second group is Michel Juteau. No question about this guy. The winner of the Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon in Toronto will be the 3-time Boston Marathon winner, Andre Viger of Sherbrooke, Quebec, and he wins it going away. Andre Viger adds yet another trophy to his already full list of honors. Andre Viger takes this edition of the Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon.
Incredible performance by Andre, especially on the time of 1:38.
1 hour, 38 minutes, 49 seconds to be exact. That is a new Canadian Championship record. Meantime, Chantal Petitclerc, Viger's teammate from Quebec, is exhausted at this point of the race. Ann Walters has already beaten her 38 kilometers in, and she looks exhausted.
Well, this has been a 42 kilometer of pain for her.
200 meters of pain now coming up for Jeff Adams, Michel Juteau, and Luc Gingras. At stake is the silver medal in the Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon. That is Jeff Adams now taking second place, and he has come from all the way back in the second pack. A remarkable performance, Peter, for him today.
Jeff Adams is a good sprinter, but I wonder if he started this a little bit early. You can see that Michel Juteau is coming up side by side with him now.
Michel Juteau is now moving away from Jeff Adams. Luc Gingras is left behind. Adams and Juteau will go to the wire for second place to Andre Viger, and this time it is Michel Juteau of Val-d'Or, Quebec, who will take second place in the Toronto Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon. In the quad division, no question who's going to win. Clayton Guerin, to the left of your screen from Regina, Saskatchewan, has been strong all day long. Only about 100 meters to go for bib number 9004, Ann Walters of Champaign, Illinois, and she looks so strong at the finish, Peter.
Yeah, this is a really good time for her. I think she will come in under 1:58 if she keep it up.
1 hour, 57 minutes, 33 seconds is the winning time for Ann Walters in the quad division. Clayton Guerin, the ex-jockey of Regina, Saskatchewan, is cruising to the finish line. It's been quite a year for Clayton Guerin. 2 gold medals at the Barcelona Paralympics. He has been beaten only once in the last 4 years in the marathon.
My start was terrible. I was going so slow I didn't feel real good. My seating position in my chair was a little off, so my back was getting pretty tired, so I didn't think I'd do as well as I did, actually. So I'm pretty happy with the way the second half went, because the second half, the average speed was well up there, so that was better.
For Jeff Adams of Brampton, Ontario, it is the race of his career.
In addition to a personal best, it was you know, a 3-way sprint for second place, and I ended up losing by a couple seconds. But man, that's a long warm-up. 42K warm-up and then a 200-meter sprint. But it was a really good race. We had some you know, tough competitors, and the course was great. The weather was perfect. You know, it was a really good race for me personally. But I think the race went really well in itself as well.
A happy Jeff Adams, but nothing but disappointment today, Peter Erickson, for Chantal Petitclerc of Sainte Foy, Quebec.
I think we should give her credit for fighting well during this race. A marathon, when you have a tough time, it's a long race.
And so no Canadian record for Petitclerc today. She settles for second to the American Ann Walters.
I am very disappointed. Of course, I didn't expect to do anything, you know, spectacular, because I didn't train for this one marathon. But I didn't expect to do so bad. It's just a very bad day.
The presentations are next from Varsity Stadium as our coverage of the Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon continues. Welcome back to our coverage of the Canadian Wheelchair Championships. The results are in, and in the men's para division, no question, Andre Viger, the man they call the old man, takes the gold medal again. In the men's quad, it's Clayton Guerin of Regina, Saskatchewan, who wins with a very good time. And in the women's divisions, in the para, Ann Walters of the United States outduels Chantal Petitclerc. And in the women's quad, Mary Thompson is the winner. For the awards, let's go now to Elfie Schlegel.
This time, I'd like to introduce Peter Maurice, President and CEO of Canada Trust, to step forward and make the presentations.
Thanks, Elfie. It's a real treat for me to be back again this year to congratulate all the participants in the 1992 Canada Trust Wheelchair Marathon and to help participate in presenting their awards. This is our second year as sponsor of Canada's National Wheelchair Championships, and we're delighted that the event continues to be a very important part of the Shoppers Drug Mart Toronto Marathon. I'd also like to thank John Craig and the staff of the Ontario Track and Field Association for their excellent organization of this event. We love to sponsor this event because we think it demonstrates what Canadians need to do to make Canada great. We all need to excel at what we do best, and that's certainly demonstrated by the athletes that we watch participate. But it also means an effort on behalf of a lot of people to allow other people to do their best. But I think that's demonstrated by the thousands of volunteers and participants that take place in this event today. I'd particularly like to thank several hundred Canada Trust people who have given up their time to be down here and make this a very successful event. We're very proud to be associated with this national event, and now I'd like to do what I came here for.
And Peter will make the presentation to our 1992 National Wheelchair Marathon Champion in the female category. Incidentally, this is a Canadian open record with a time of 1 hour, 57 minutes and 39 seconds, and that goes to Ann Walters.
This isn't money, Ann, but I'll tell you, you deserve it just as much. Congratulations.
And in the male category, a new course record, 1 hour, 38 minutes, 47 seconds, Andre Viger.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the awards presentations. Now let's go back to Scott Russell.
Thank you, Elfie. Andre Viger left little doubt he is back at the top of his game. The 40-year-old from Sherbrooke, Quebec, was dominant in winning again, this time through the streets of Toronto.
It was in the hill. I saw the course yesterday by bus, and I knew it would be at the 13, 14 K. We had a big hill, and my plan was to go away in this hill. And I was expecting maybe Michel Juteau he can come with me, but he was far away behind. And I decided just, okay, forget the other people and go and take your chance and go by yourself, and it worked very well.
In winning the women's division, Ann Walters left a Canadian rival behind early.
Well, I wasn't sure how long Chantal would last. I know she's not in marathon shape at this point, and I was going to try to make a break sometime, but I didn't expect it to be so early.
It is the latest victory in an extraordinary career. Andre Viger has won 3 Boston Marathons, and Peter, he dominated today.
Always the same thing with Andre, hard worker, and he's always doing good times, and he showed that he's an outstanding athlete once again by performing close to 6 minutes under the Canadian Championship record.
Chantal Petitclerc had a tough time. Ann Walters got the lead right away and stayed with it.
Yeah, she was very disappointed, and I think the reason is that she has been training for the track and she wasn't prepared for this particular race. She's only done her training geared to the Barcelona Olympics and shorter distances.
All right, Peter. Joining me now is Susan Pettit-Crossman, the host of Canada's Disability Network. What a way to kick off another brand new season.
I'll say that's for sure, Scott, and that's just one example of the kind of stories that we'll be bringing our viewers across the country. And this year we're going to take a more in-depth look at the issues of disability. Next week, for example, we're going to have the referendum, and looking forward to a great season.
We're looking forward to it too. Scott Russell for Susan Pettit-Crossman and Peter Erickson. So long from the Wheelchair Marathon in downtown Toronto.